I rarely think of myself in terms of any nationality, actually. I think when you're writing music, you're influenced by, well, I'm influenced by music mainly from the Western tradition, which could be from America, it could be from Russia, it could be from anywhere. I think very few people describe themselves. It's weird when we live on this little island. People tend to talk about English English composers. So if you're a Welsh composer, you feel like a little bit of an outsider. It's often quite a nice thing to be, actually. So there aren't very many Welsh composers. It's a pretty new thing in Wales. Even in England, frankly, I mean, there's a 200-year gap between Purcell and Elgar. So, no, I'm afraid I don't really think of myself. I mean, I think you can't. There are things when you grow up somewhere, it seeps into you, and so probably other people would recognise a certain Britishness or even Welshness in my music. It's not really for me to say. I think when you're living in the present, you're aware of so many different strands in composition. It's only 50, 100 years later that the good stuff, you hope, filters to the top. So it's difficult to say if there's anything that unites everybody who calls themselves a composer at the moment. I think the difficult thing when you are writing music is not to self-consciously choose some kind of style or some kind of fashion. I think you just have to write lots of music and then your voice will emerge, depending on, you should listen broadly and widely, and that's what I try to do. But I think in 50 years' time, if we're still here playing music, then it will be interesting to see what the perspective from the future is towards today. Well, I think that since the biggest change in my life in the last 10 years has been having a lovely little boy 5 years ago. That has meant that, composing before that, for me, and I think also for my wife, used to be this activity that would sprawl luxuriously over hours and hours, and now we somehow have to find ways of writing when he's at school. So that certainly affected the way I think about time. It perhaps has made me a little bit more disciplined, I hope. I think it's something that many composers over history have dealt with. I certainly don't have as many children as Bach. Maybe he wasn't a modern dad in the way that we must see today, but I suspect it must have affected his work schedule in some way or other. And so I think it's a rather good thing to be able to not to be too precious about composing, actually, just to be able to sit at the piano and work. It doesn't always come out. That's why my other job, which is being a pianist, is a rather lovely way of escaping from those weeks or days when just nothing is coming and nothing's working compositionally. And also, I think it's essential. It's an essential way, at least for me, to find out how audiences react to music, how music is put together on the inside, what other composers are writing. I mean, I play a lot of new music. I've given many premieres over the years. It's a very important thing what I do, and that's the way for me to get to know a piece, other pieces in depth. I'm not sure if I can compose anywhere anymore. I'm rather lucky in that we decided to build a studio, a shed in the garden where my piano lives and where I compose, and it's just a very nice, quiet environment. That's all I need really is quiet, especially for musical noise. I mean, some rubbish truck picking up stuff isn't so bad, but as soon as an ice cream van comes around, it's incredibly off-putting. So I need just quiet from any kind of musical noise. My routine it varies, but I think I do my best work usually sort of late morning, early afternoon. I can't work in the evening. I mean, I can't work on writing music then. I'm just not in the right mood. I think it's a slow, obsessive thing, writing music. You struggle away, you worry away at 2 or 3 bars at one chord for an hour or half an hour. So for me, the thing that I need to try to do when I'm composing is try to see a slightly, stand back from this very close detail. You might come up with an idea that you love, and then after half an hour of worrying at it, you hate it. So that's the challenge, I think, for me, and probably for many other composers too. A piece I'd happily never hear again. Berlioz' Nuit d'été. Sorry. My favourite pudding depends very much on how I'm feeling. At this moment now, I could murder a baked Alaska